Going live.
Hello, thank you for joining us today. I'm Cameron, and today we're going to be reviewing the PAL BX Acid 16 unit. So this is going to be primed for measuring cherries. So this will look at both Brix and acid concentration of your cherry-based sample. You will notice that there are a couple other units here, which we'll get into a little bit later, but these are going to cover all of your needs in a couple different ways. But today we'll be focusing on what kind of packs most things in one unit, and that's going to be both Brix and acid right here in the PAL BX Acid 16. So what I did want to do is just take a quick up-close look, and we can kind of see how the unit is designed, what goes into it, and the different features, and then eventually we'll take a look at measuring and how you can go about a couple of different features so you can get a proper feel for the unit. So I'm going to move this over here. Hopefully we get a decent visual. So as you can see, this is designed in exactly the same fashion as many of our digitals, the PAL series. So this is going to be a nice ergonomic shape here, as we can see. So pretty different from the traditional analog style. You are going to see a weight right at 100 grams, so super light, compact. We can see right here where your eye is probably drawn to. So that is going to be where the electrical conductivity is actually taking place. So this is going to measure the acidity level and give you a conversion that comes up on the screen here, which we'll demonstrate in just a second. But just surrounding that, in that area there, is going to be called the sample stage. That's where we're going to be putting 0.3 milliliters of our sample to get those measurements. So it's really not much you need to generate either of these readings. We can see, if I flip the unit here, we've got a little lanyard hole, which is super convenient. We have, this is actually notable for a couple of reasons, the battery cap, but if you are ever troubleshooting the unit, you'll want to make sure that this is intact, and that's where we're holding just 2 AAA batteries. That's all you need to power this unit. You can see that there's actually pretty intricately made design here. So you can see there's an angle here. I like to call this the runoff. So that actually makes the cleaning process super easy. So once we have our sample, we can just quickly rinse it off, it'll flow off, and then we can just wipe it. Super efficient that way. So as we can see, lots of time put into the how the unit was put together here. We do have just, you'll often see the start and 0 button on our PALs. This one does have an R button as well. So what this is going to enable you to do is basically take those 2 readings that you're looking at with Brix and acid and look at the proportion. So you're going to get a sugar to acid ratio with that R button there. So just 3 buttons, and you can do quite a bit with those, which we'll get into in a second here. But super simple design, and that will get you all you need for your destructive sample testing with your cherries. So I am going to zoom out here. We'll take a look at what comes with the package. So you might have noticed we have a little beaker, and there's a measuring spoon, and we have a little scale. So that's all going to come as part of the master kit. So when you're taking your Brix measurement, you aren't going to need any of this stuff. For acid, you will have to dilute just very briefly, but we'll show you how easy of a process that is. So contained within all of the master kits, you're going to get, aside from this, you're going to get all of these components, and that will provide you with acid and Brix reading capabilities. I did want to quickly highlight this here. So this is our PAL Hikari 16. So this is used for what we call non-destructive measuring. So this is actually going to enable you to take Brix measurements directly in the field. You won't have to cut into, in this case, your cherries at all. Just put it right up. We do have a little adapter here, which is going to enable you to get the cherry right in there and have no light interfering with those readings. But this actually uses infrared technology. It's pretty cool, and you won't have to cut into your cherry at all. So this is a really popular thing to supplement with this if you're looking at both destructive and non-destructive testing to get whatever level of specificity you're looking for, slash acid or just Brix. So this one's Brix, this is Brix and acidity, just kind of different styles there, different applications. We do have a pH meter available as well. This is actually right at the top in terms of popularity here at Otago. Super accessible, super durable, and highly accurate. So this will go from 0 to 14 for pH, which is obviously often used when you're looking at fruits and cherries like that. So highly recommend picking this up. Very accessible unit there. So let's get into a little bit of measuring with our PAL-BX Acid 16, just so you guys can see how it works here. So first thing, I'll bring it over here. Hopefully we get a clear visual. So first thing we're going to do is just power the unit on, so I can go ahead and hit start there. And we are seeing LLL come up. That's okay. That is an error message, but that's just telling us that we've got things powered on. We'll get into the errors in a second. But all I need to do for 0 setting, so this is recommended on pretty much a daily basis. Will kind of depend on how much you're using the instrument, but this is kind of just setting a ground 0 to give it a reference point, so to speak. So all we're going to do is, for our acid, we're just going to hit 0 here. And we are seeing that, despite there's nothing on the unit here, we are seeing 0, 0, 0 come up for the acid. You can see at the bottom there, which means we are properly 0 set. Super easy there. For Brix, just like with for our PAL-1, for example, or any of the other PALs, we're just going to use a little bit of distilled water and we're going to hit our 0 button. Hopefully we can see that there. Comes right out at 0, 0, 0, which is perfect. So we are all set in that regard. When you are cleaning the sample stage, we do recommend that you will use a lint-free tissue. So there's a couple different kinds you can get, but this is to ensure that you're not scratching the prism and able to get everything off the sample stage there, so your ensuing measurements are not affected. So now that we know that we are set, we are going to just quickly take a sample here. So I have a little cherry juice here. So what's really nice is you don't actually need much at all. You only need 0.3 milliliters to get a measurement. So not wasting much at all. So we can see this unit here actually goes from 0 to 90%, covers basically full range. With cherry, you're probably looking at right around this region, so we can see 12.9. We would recommend that if you see bubbles like this, probably a product of me kind of squeezing it out in a funny fashion, that you do keep in mind that this will actually affect how the unit is reading. It can, so you might need to stir that a little bit. In this case, it looks like we're still generating that reading okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start again. Right at 12.9, nice and consistent. More data is better data, right? So we're getting our 12.9, which is perfect. So right in the range of what we would expect with a cherry sample, and that would be a malic acid. So really what this instrument is doing is it's using electrical conductivity to obtain a measurement, and then because this is a cherry scale, or one that uses malic acid rather, it's converting that into malic acid concentration, and that's what the acid percent is represented as here. So again, we're going to use our lint-free wipe. So again, as I was saying with the little runoff here, it's super convenient. This actually has what we call IP65, and IP stands for ingress protection. This actually means that you are okay to put the unit under running water, so super convenient. It will just run right off, and that way you don't have to use too many tissues or too much time cleaning this area here. So now we're going to demonstrate how you'll be going about getting the acid measurement. So with Brix, just directly on is fine. Acid, you are going to want to dilute. So I'll bring over our scale here. And again, this is contained within the package, the master kit. So what we're going to want to do is first power this on. Make sure we're even out at 0 there. So we do want, the ratio is going to be 1 to 49, equating to 50 grams total. So you're going to have 1 gram of your sample and then 49 of your water to distill, or I'm sorry, to distilled water to get that dilution. Looks like we're almost there. Just one more drop will do it. So ideally you're just sitting at exactly 1.00 grams. We'll just give you a demonstration though today. So you want to get to a total of 50 here. We generally recommend that you'll head up to 45 and then slowly add from that point forth with pipettes and whatnot. We'll see what we can do today in limited time, see how accurate we can get. Alright, that should be good for today. So we have our 1 gram of cherry sample and we have our 49 of water. Make sure that you really stir this well. This is what the little measuring spoon is here for. If not, you might generate the HHH reading. We see that sometimes. So the HHH is going to just indicate that the measurement range is out of, or I'm sorry, the sample range is out of the measurement range of the unit. So just make sure you stir it really well there. For acid, we are going to need just 0.3 milliliters again. Would recommend using this because if you're working quickly, don't want to scratch the unit with metal on metal and whatnot. So that should actually be more than enough there. Go ahead and hit start. So it was, and that's another remarkable thing about these pals. It just takes a couple seconds, so I'm able to get that 1.31 acid rating just right away there. Make sure you hit it twice. We're getting our Brix first, and then we got 1.33. So. And my Brix, which we already got, and 1.34. So highly consistent, super quick, and if we want to, we can also hit that R button to get the ratio of sugar to acid as well. So super quick, as you can see. So that is generally how you go about conducting measurements with this unit. I did want to quickly review just a couple other circumstances you might run into. So there is, as we were doing before with the reference setting, you are going to establish that ground zero with the zero setting, rather. If there are occasions where you're encountering fluctuations in your reading and whatnot, you do have the ability to reference set. And so with the reference set, all you need to do is, again, just get rid of anything on the sample stage, and you're going to press 0. And if there are still fluctuations that you're experiencing, we can use what Otago actually can provide you with a citric acid solution. So this is going to be with the BX acid units, it's going to be 0.04%. So once we use that, we can actually set a reference point for the unit, and that way, if there are any sort of fluctuations, maybe it's been sitting dormant for a while or whatnot, we can set that reference point, and things will be good from that point forward. So again, ideally we're just sticking this under running water, but our lint-free wipes do the trick here as well. So with our, see if we can quickly reference set here. I'm going to power the unit on. And for this, you are going to actually want to use a little bit more than the 0.3. 0.6 is the magic number here. So you're actually going to want to fill the sample stage all the way up. And again, this is 0.04% citric acid that we're using. And as you can see, all I did was press start, and right away it came up to 1.64, which is the number that we're looking for. So if you are not seeing 1.64 with that 0.04% citric acid solution, we would recommend that you contact us to get the unit properly calibrated. However, this is exactly what we're looking for. You can see some other things like LLL we're seeing here. So this basically just means it's insufficient sample. Right now it's occurring because we're not actually getting the Brix, we're getting the acid level. HHH, you can see if it is outside of the intended range, as we discussed before. AAA might come up. This is, I think, the last or second to last. So just a couple things. It's all in the instruction manual for you. But if you follow these guidelines, things should operate as intended. We do have NNN as well, which basically means there's excess light. So if you have internal light competing with external light, you will have some difficulty in generating consistent readings. But that is about how the unit operates. I do want to give you guys the opportunity to ask some questions if you have any. I probably won't get into demonstrating how we use the PAL-PH or the Hikari today, but these are important to keep in mind just to supplement with your PAL-BX acid. But again, we can see with just a tiny bit of sample, we are actually, 0.3 milliliters, we're able to quickly generate Brix and acid, and it's covering quite a wide range. So regardless of what state your cherry's in, we should be able to get those consistent readings for you. Again, so that's going to be with our destructive, and this is for anyone who didn't catch before. If you're out in the field, you can just apply this directly to the cherry. It's not going to be as accurate as the PAL-BX acid. Again, this is another really nice feature of the BX acid series. This is actually going to be within plus or minus 0.2% for Brix, so highly accurate there, and that wide range as well. This is a little more specific and not quite the same level of specificity. So that about covers it for these units. I did want to mention that on the 14th next week we do have a suite testing with Emily, I believe. So she'll be highlighting our PAL-3 unit. So this will be actually somewhat similar to our PAL-BX acid in terms of range, but it's she'll show you how that works with testing different suites. So that's going to be at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time next week on the 14th. That about does it for us here. I would like to open it up for questions if there are any. Looks like we're good. So that concludes the PAL-BX acid 16 overview. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out here at Atago USA. Thank you much for joining today. I feel like I forgot.